was decided with regard to so-called universal or nationwide injunctions is a case about courts ordering injunctive relief. So yeah, I mean, to the extent that the remedy is an injunction in a case like this, and they're suing California, so there's no reason to expect that a court would order a nationwide injunction, right? They're claiming that California is discriminating, and so the relief would be to order California to stop discriminating. So I guess the answer to your question is yes, but not because of the limitation from the case of the other day, but rather because the appropriate relief, if you're claiming that the state of California is discriminating, is to order California to stop discriminating. There would be no basis for a judge to say, and we also order Utah to stop discriminating, right? It just wouldn't make any sense.
Thank you, Steve. There we go. So, Steve, while I got you here, did you have any other things that you wanted to bring up, either your PTR or any other of your legal musings?
No, I guess the two. I mean, I am going to be. Royfield asked me to do his podcast later today, so I'm going to do that.
Whoa.
Talk about 4 or 5 different cases. But I guess the other thing I'd say is that in addition to the one I mentioned about, revisiting limits on coordinated spending, which again is just going to just increase the unbelievable harm to the election system that Citizens United has caused. They also picked forward. So there was one case that wasn't decided this year, and everybody was scratching their head after the last day of the term because the court announced that it was the last day. They announced, I think, 4 decisions. They just didn't announce a decision in the Louisiana redistricting case, in which Louisiana created a second so-called majority-minority district, and that was challenged by the white supremacists as, discriminatory. Again, with the world turned on its head, now it's illegal to try and get some semblance of equal representation in these states. That's what's now constitutionally suspect. And they kicked the case forward after hearing argument with a suggestion that they're going to refine the question. So I think they're going to ask for the case to be re-argued, and maybe they're going to ask the litigants to focus on some new issues. So, 2 election-related cases that are more of the effort to, make it easier to continue to have minority rule in this country. Because essentially what we have, to some extent, nationally, although Trump did win the popular vote in the last election, but in states especially, when you look at some of the gerrymandering at the state level, and that includes, of course, their congressional delegation, not just their state legislatures, you see this situation where, one party gets 57, 58, 59% of the vote, and they have 20% of the seats. I mean, it's just absolutely not representative and outrageous. And, they're continuing to ossify that kind of approach to democracy. And this is, we've known it for a long time. The Republican Party's policies are not popular in this country on a nationwide basis or a state-by-state basis, with obviously notable exceptions. And the way they continue to have power in state houses and at the national level in Congress is by gerrymandering and vote suppression. I mean, it's not complicated. It's that simple. And then you add, of course, eliminating limitations on campaign expenditures and the misinformation, right? And those 4 elements together, gerrymandering, vote suppression, misinformation, and a flooding of money into the system, have combined to make us profoundly anti-democratic and anti-representative.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah. All right, so let's do this because we've got the domestic thing happening here.
I did have a comment on that pace that they are taking up, limiting, removing the caps on campaign contributions. This is something I mentioned almost a year ago, I think, when the Republicans flipped one seat in our county. The very first thing they did, with 95% of the public comments going against this, was to raise the cap that we had on local elections from $750 for an individual to almost $7,000. That's the very first thing to do. So, local and state, those are the testing grounds for many of these laws. If it worked here, it can work nationally. This is why we really have to get on to our local elections. And they are so critically important to start taking back these state houses, which is exactly how the Republicans have managed to redistrict our country into making it almost unwinnable. And, federal elections are important, but if you can't ever get anybody elected to a federal office, say goodbye. So then the other piece of related news to that is the Elon Musk Donald Trump wars are back on. And Elon Musk said yesterday that if the big beautiful bill passes, he's going to start a new political party called the America Party.
It just narrowly passed.
Well, he said that he's going to start the America Party to contest Trump. And if personal political contributions and corporate political contributions, if personal contributions are lifted, he can spend a lot of money. That doesn't mean he'll win, but
he could help the Democrats. Maybe.
Speculating against stuff like that is kind of crazy, but it could make a real mess. And so anyway, there's a lot going on. Get out there. If you can, donate to elect.org, donate to the States Project. Look up elect.org. They're just getting started. They need funding. And it's a really remarkable, if you want young people who aren't, party loyalists, who really wanted to see change, and they're going to work at it. They elected 5 people in the last election, got them elected, and I think all of them are under 40. The new mayor of our town is over 40. But they won every election that they recruited and trained. And they're trying to take this national now and show people how to do it. And we're a purple county, so we're a perfect testing ground for this stuff. So elect.org, spend some money today. Give them a little love. Read up about them. Spread the word. They're also looking for other organizations or people around the country that want to partner with them. So let's do this. Let's start creating coalitions. With coalitions, we have a lot more power. And let's start doing that.
All right, thanks, Rick. Dr. Francine, can you tell us, because I'm not looking at the thing, I know that the bill passed, but it was like 50-50.
No,
tell us what happened exactly.
Vance broke the tie. It was
so we Republicans decided to vote against it.
Oh, I wasn't watching it that closely.
Yeah, but I think we can
clearly not for.
Yeah, it's Tillis, Collins, and Murkowski, I think would be a pretty safe bet. But just to be clear, I mean, to state the obvious, it's not a law yet, right? This bill has passed the Senate. It's more deficit-inducing than the House bill. There's also a narrow minority in the House. So, now the focus shifts back, ironically, to some of the most conservative members of the House who fashion themselves deficit hawks. And so the fight's not over yet. The bill has passed the Senate, but the bill that passed the House is a different bill. So it's got to go back to the House now.
Yeah,
McCaskey voted yes. McCaskey voted yes.
And Trump went to the House more than once and said, if you don't vote for the bill, I will midterm your ass.
Yeah. So who's the third? Did Collins vote no? Is it Collins, Tillis, and somebody else?
I think so. I know that
Anybody have the roll call?
And is going to vote against. I'm sure it was her, but I'll check.
I wonder who the third one was if it wasn't Mikowski.
The
Interesting.
guy from Nebraska who's retiring.
Bacon. Oh, well, no, he's not senator. So.
I have a brief breaking news because I'm in and out. So.
Go for it.
The ranked choice voting for New York City mayor was released at 12 noon today. This is the second and maybe the final round. But Zoran had to get over 50%, so we knew he was